1990, the Australian songstress Kylie Minogue had a smash hit with Step Back in Time, and that's what we're going to do right now, because I'm spring cleaning. So what's that got to do with the price of eggs? Well, cast your mind back to this little video here of an LT230 we had a couple of years ago that had no oil in it. You see? What a mess. Just pay attention to put oil in. Anyway, you saw that. I'll put a link below where the video is if you want to watch it. Now, as I was doing a bit of spring cleaning, I can't help laughing. There's a woodpecker over there pecking on tin sheets. It's balmy, it's mental. Must have COVID. Anyway, oh, less of that. Now, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so I decided to strip down the casing for scrap because it was getting in the way. Anyway, I managed to push out on my press. It must be because I mentioned Kylie. I managed to press out on my press the intermediate shaft, which dropped the gears out, which then in turn allowed me to get the centre diff out. What a mess that was. Here it is here. Now, I couldn't get the bearing off, so I went down to JP. Where is it now? And he knocked me up a piece of metal like this with a pin in it, with a recess in it here, to sit inside here. This is the Malawi one that's waiting for some bits and pieces. So, big deal. Well, I tried that's why I had the recess, to put that ram into it there. 10 ton, wouldn't shift it. Back down to JP's shop. He's got a 50 ton press, and it took 12 tons to press this out. Now normally the bearing goes on the end of here and retains all that lot. There's no circlips on it at all. But look at the shaft. Even the woodpecker couldn't get that off. It is seized solid. What a job. 12 tons to press that off. This is completely shot now, this unit's no good at all. But I'm going to have a look in a minute. I'm going to take the end off and have a look and see what the sun and planet wheels are like. I said I'd take the bits of the centre diff, but so I'll insert it here. And what a mess. I don't know if you can see this, but this shaft is actually bent. These gears won't come off, they're sort of on there. Most importantly, inside here and here, this gear is supposed to have a fibrous washer behind here. That's gone. I don't know where that is. Let's have a look down here, because I haven't taken this one out yet. No, the washer's gone, the shim's gone. You can see, well, it hasn't gone, it's all stuck on here, look. What a mess. So, can't put this shot. This is the gear that ran on there, and you can see how worn this is. So that is scrap, kaput. This is the high range gear. Well, we saw underneath that this is where the two intermediate gears run on, and this was absolutely knackered. How it didn't make any noise, he said, was amazing. But if you look in here, you can see where it's all scarred and burnt. And this is actually a bushing. This is a bush in here. It ain't gonna come out, and even if it did, it's no good. We can't save it. One thing we did save was this selector. Because it didn't move, it wasn't attached to anything really. It was just moving and attaching. I managed to save this. Now this is one thing I want to show you guys that's a little bit different. This is the selector out of the Malawi one, and this is out of a 1.2 transfer case. They look the same, but the later one is bigger. Alright, it's a bigger spline here where it's been pushed through on here. So don't get them mixed up, but there is a distinct difference if I open them up. I hope I don't get them mixed up. On the teeth, you can see this one is extremely worn here, and this one's got better teeth, so that's good. So we did manage to save something, because these are 145 quid each. So that can go in the scrap along with that. Now I have been kind of busy recently, as usual. Oh, that was the bearing. It fell to bits. And I'm working on another little experiment. I'm sorry, I'm up to my eyes in bloody work at the moment. This was supposed to be my retirement. Anyway, I was playing around a little bit, and I got interested in these front covers and the bearings at the front. And I've mentioned to a few people that I intend to, I'm looking for another one, put new bearings in here. Now I got the old one out, and it's quite easy to get out. How did I get it out? Oh, that's right. It's getting like absent-minded professor now. I got a big piece of steel tubing, which is not here. That was here. I must have put it back. Big piece of steel tubing on here, and then warmed up this casing with a torch, and then pushed the bearing through. Now, to get the flange off, these are fragile, I don't know what the heck they're made of, but to get the flange off here, I simply used a piece of good old British scaffolding tube, which fits like a glove, and then pushed a socket down, and it came off great. So you can get them out. So where's this leading to? Well, this is an experiment. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, it's a waste of time, isn't it? But I know you can buy these bearings in the UK. They're off of Ford or Ina bearings. They're very expensive. However, I was digging around a little bit, and I went down to see JP because he knows a lot about bearings and stuff like this. Worked out there's an SKF bearing, exactly the same, but for a water pump. And it turns out it's off a John Deere. And the only difference is it's got a shaft coming out here and a shaft coming out there. Big deal. So, before I bought one, I went to see JP and I said, hey, can we put that on the lathe and turn that end down and make it the same as this? He said, yeah, no problem. It just so happens that our neighbour, just a few hundred metres down the road, is a John Deere dealership. So I went in and saw him. I said, and I got the part number of the bearing. I said, can you get one of these? And he says, yeah, I'll get you one for Wednesday today. So I said, oh, John Deere, you know, John Deere's an anagram. If you add a few letters and take a few away, it comes out as extremely expensive, more expensive than Land Rover if you add a few more letters in. Anyway, $30 Canadian. So this could be very interesting if we can salvage these covers, because there's nothing wrong with the cover, there never is. But I want to show you something that's really interesting. I didn't notice this. I know there was two different types of seals at the bottom, and I'll show you why. When you're looking at castings, manufacturers usually put casting numbers on, but they also sometimes put stamps on dates, and this is in 1991. And the seal at the bottom is just all the way through. It's got a leading edge here, so I expected that the thought that you could perhaps take the seal off in situ and, you know, without taking the cover off, and put a new seal in. Now it's only a dust seal really, it's not really a watertight seal. Well, it could be. Yeah, it could be, but seals are funny. I'll explain that in another video. But take a look at the style of that. And now have a look at this one. This one is from 1993. That can't be 1991. Oh no, 1997. That's it. Did I say 91? 97. So that's a later one. This one is completely different. You see, you put the seal in from the inside. So there is two different types, but it's the same bore. I don't know why they messed about, but that's it. So these later ones here, oh no, these early ones, this is 93, they must have changed it, but I couldn't really quite fathom out why they changed it, because you take the timing belts off, covers off so often to change the timing belts. Why bother making an accessible seal? It doesn't really make much difference. Anyway, so I'll keep you posted on that, because it could be kind of interesting once I get the bearing. But like I say, I'm absolutely up to my eyes at the moment. I really expected it to be quiet. Look down. My problems don't end here. Look, I've had to buy a bloody hot water tank because my hot water tank is going all rusty water. And I had to buy a new one, so I've got to think of a way to install it, because it's not as easy as you think, because because it's about 4 foot off the ground on a stand. Oh, I'll think of something. Anyway, I hope you like that. Just make sure that you've got oil in your transfer case, really seriously, because transfer cases leak quite common. It's quite common for them to leak, and then they stop, and you think, well, it's not leaking anymore, it must be all right, but it never is. Just take the bung out the back near the handbrake drum and pop your finger in, or a piece of wire, and dip it, and see how much oil's in it, and you'd be surprised how much they leak out of that intermediate shaft bush. Right, see you later, bye.